right. All right, we are live. So we had a few technical difficulties. I'm going to move the camera slightly here. This way. There we go. All right. So we are live now. We are so excited. This is our first live video. We are doing family chats once a month. We're going to start. And this month we have decided to do what to expect in orientation. So we're coming up on our orientation season. And so we thought it'd be a really cool idea to talk with families about what to expect in orientation. And so first, I just want to say welcome to any of our followers that are joining us live now. This is really exciting for us. So thank you for joining our first family chat with the Office of Transition Programs at UNCW. My name is Carrie West. I am the coordinator in the office, and I work specifically with our transfer students and our families. So I'm very excited about our first family chat. So just so you know, each month I'm going to be talking about a different topic, and so I will be the host of the videos, and I'll ask different students or faculty and staff to come in and share some of their expert knowledge. And so that's what these two are here today to do. These are two of our orientation leaders in our office, and so I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Isley. I'm a junior from Burlington, North Carolina, majoring in communication studies with a minor in leadership.
Hi, my name is Matthew Garcia. I'm a senior from Harrisburg, North Carolina, majoring in communication with a minor in theater.
Awesome. So I mentioned y'all were orientation leaders, or OLs as we call them for short, but y'all were OLs last summer and you're coming back for a second year. So can you explain what an orientation leader is and what your role is now coming back for your second year?
So orientation leader kind of helps assist families and their students with a transition to UNCW by giving tours, leading small groups, and answering any questions they may have.
So we were both OLs this past year, so now me and Caitlin are the orientation coordinators for this upcoming year. And what we do is we assist our director in hiring, training, and pretty much getting ready the new team to become orientation leaders. And we're there from the beginning of the process to right up when we start doing orientation in June.
That's awesome. So as we wait for a couple more followers maybe to get on here, I just want to ask y'all, before we jump into the questions about orientation, what is your favorite part about UNCW? There's a lot to choose from. So what did you narrow this down to?
My favorite part about UNCW is the faculty and staff and how they make a large university feel like a small university by including everyone and making sure that everyone has the same experience and gets the best out of it.
For me, it's the environment, both in that I didn't feel like a number when I came here, and like Caitlin was saying, the admission staff and all the faculty and people here really made me feel like I mattered. And also the environment in general outside. It is one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever been to, and it's really lovely walking around on my way to class, just taking time to enjoy this campus.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of the most beautiful campuses I've been on. Maybe in the heat of July, it's pretty hot, pretty warm, but it's beautiful out here. We're sitting right outside looking out the windows to the pond area right here outside of Randall Library and the Fisher buildings. So we have a great view this morning. So everyone knows that's watching right now, this live format, we have some planned questions, and I'm just going to be asking them. They're going to be sharing with us their experiences, but I also want to encourage you to comment questions. And so if you have anything specific, it could be anything, really. And we have a team that's behind the scenes that is going to be answering some of those questions. They might comment and we'll give you a link to answer that question, or they might send us that question and we're going to answer it live. So it might be answered one of two ways. But to get started, if you haven't commented already, let us know where you are watching from, where your hometown. Just let us know. We have students from all over the country and multiple countries worldwide, so let us know where you're watching us from. So first, before we jump into questions, I've asked you to briefly talk about our two orientation sessions, our transfer and our freshman transfer sessions, and talk about the differences between those two.
Yeah, so our transfer orientation is a one-day program where we take the transfer students from community colleges, other universities, military, and they come for a day program where in the morning they attend a lot of sessions about the different topics or the different programs we have on campus here to assist them with their transition, and then it's pretty much over after that day.
So our freshman orientation is a little bit different. It's a 2-day program, and we encourage students to stay overnight just to be able to get a little bit more out of the experience by staying overnight and being able to interact with people that they're going to be coming to the university with. But they also have several sessions that they're sitting through, and then they both, transfer and freshman will go through advising, the math placement test, and they will also get their UNCW 1 card.
Yeah, those are great. So clarification again, our transfer are 1-day sessions, pretty much all day. Freshmen are 2 days, so there's an overnight component for that. For families, the reason we wanted to talk about this family chat of what to expect in orientation, because for students, orientation is mandatory. Mostly because you would get advice in orientation, but you also get a lot, orientation and registration, but you also get a lot of great information. But it's optional for families, but it's highly encouraged. We highly encourage it because we've developed an entire program specifically for family and guest. And so one thing that we don't want you to be surprised about is when you come to orientation, there are actually pretty much 2 separate schedules. There's a student schedule and a family and a guest schedule. And so there are some sessions where you're together with your student, but a lot of the day, or the 2 days for freshmen, you're apart because you're in different sessions. And the way that I think about that is both of you sit through a financial aid presentation, but they're formatted a little differently to answer both of your questions, because students have some questions, parents and families or guests have a little bit different questions. And so that's something that I just want you to be aware of, that it's a little different. There are 2 different sessions for students and families and guests. But yes, they get their 1 card, take a math placement test, meet with an advisor, they'll meet their orientation leader, and a lot of hopefully their future friends in those small groups and just at lunch or different sessions. So that was great. So I think now, do we have any questions? I want to make sure that you're commenting. If you have any questions throughout this, I'm going to start with some questions that we've planned. But again, if you're joining us, just again, my name is Carrie West. I'm the coordinator in the office, and I have with me 2 students who are orientation leaders, Matt and Caitlin, who can answer really any questions that you have about orientation, what to expect, what to bring, anything like that. So I'm going to jump right in to really the big question of why we wanted to do this video of why should families attend orientation?
I think families definitely should attend orientation. It's beneficial for the families to get the same information that the students have, because students have a tendency to forget or not pay attention as much. And so being able to be there and having an extra set of eyes, but also having the family there to be able to support the student later on down the road.
So when I was doing the process, I went through it alone. So when my parents came to see the school, this was the first time they saw it. So definitely going through the family side of orientation for my dad, I really got a better understanding of what the school I was going to looks like and the feel of it. And he actually got information, and it made him feel more at ease about sending me here.
Yeah, so like I talked about, there are family sessions specifically to answer those family and guest questions. And they might be a little bit more in depth about financial aid or housing or campus safety. It could be anything like that, that sometimes families have a little bit different questions or more specific questions than students maybe. So Matt, you made a good point that your dad came to orientation. So did y'all's family come to orientation, and what did they get out of it?
My mom came alone, and she is someone that asks a lot of questions, probably more specific than I would ever ask. But she actually made connections with 2 other orientation leaders while she was there, and it made her feel a little bit better about me coming to the school. But she also, during the course of the orientation, the first day, she was just texting me. She's like, I don't know anyone here. I don't have anyone to talk to. And then by the end of the first day, she's like, I made 2 friends and sat with them. She still Facebook friends with them and still talks to them to this day. So
Awesome. She made like a mom click
yeah.
by the end of orientation.
Yes.
Cool.
So for me, it was my dad who came, and it was me and my best friend. So both of our dads kind of hung out the whole time. And they got all their answers questioned, just had a good time palling around, but also learning about the university and the programs that are here for their students.
Oh, I forgot to ask y'all, did you tell your families that you were doing this live video today?
No,
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I didn't want them to watch it.
You didn't want to watch it live?
No.
They're definitely going to watch it
That's
later.
okay.
Though.
That's okay.
Okay, they're going to share it on their timeline, and then their
Probably.
friends that they made at orientation can watch it. Okay. They'll be proud parent moments later in this. My mom might be already commenting, I can't tell. She's on the road, so she might be commenting as well. There's that. So next, actually the actual question of the video is, what should students and families expect at orientation?
You should expect to get a lot of information, and it's a lot of useful information that you're probably not going to remember just by listening. Me and my mom both took notepads, but you also get notepads at orientation to take notes and just make sure that you're listening to everything and paying attention to what questions you want to ask, because that's literally what we're here for, to answer any question that you might have throughout the time.
I think you should expect to meet new people and new friends. Like Caitlin was saying, there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you, but it's all for your benefit, and it's all going to be very helpful, and it will be repeated again later on, but it's just to give you a new sense of what this campus is going to be like and what your experience is going to be when you get here. So just expect to take in a lot of information, but also be excited for it too.
Yeah, you both make good points. I think one thing that I like to tell families or parents is to take notes, but also when you're sitting in a session, write down a question that you have that pops up in your mind, and after the session, go and ask that presenter or go find an orientation leader. They're all in teal polos with a name tag. You can't miss them. And so go and ask them your question, and they'll be able to get you to whoever you need to answer that question. But if it's like an experience question, like just you want to know a student's experience, like should my student bring a car to campus, or how much money did your parents put in your bank account freshman year? Any of those questions, I recommend asking multiple OLs, and you get different answers, and you can kind of make that decision for your family. But get multiple perspectives of questions like that. Cool. So like we talked about in the beginning, this is going into your second year of being an orientation leader. So last summer you had a lot of experiences with families. And so what has your experience been like working with families at orientation?
Working with families at orientation is my favorite part of the whole process, because I get to see where the students are coming from, but also being able to experience like what they went through, because a lot of parents did go to UNCW, and hearing their stories of when they were here was really cool. But also being able to listen and make sure that I answer their questions and seeing their face light up when I do answer those questions for them, because it makes them feel just that much better about coming to this school.
I absolutely love working with parents. I thought it was cool just to hear their experiences and what they were doing in life and what got them here and what got their kids here. But also cool to help reassure them that they're sending their kids to a good place, and just being able to address some of their concerns. It's really helpful too. But also being able to connect and just, like Caitlin was saying again, just meet where the students coming from.
Yeah, I think a really cool thing that we do that the orientation leaders get to be a part of is during the family and guest orientation schedule, we do a student panel. And so, of course, anytime in between sessions, you can find one of these OLs and ask them a question. But we also have that student panel where there's four or five OLs up on stage, and the whole session is just question and answer. So we're walking around with mics, answering questions. It could be anything under the sun, and I think that that's a really cool session that you could ask an OL anything during that session. That's a really cool part of the family schedule. Neither of you talked about the social that we do during freshman orientation. We do a parent social at the end of day one of freshman sessions. And so that's a really cool time to just hang out after a day of sitting through sessions, get to meet other parents and family members, and also just a casual time to talk with the OLs about their experiences or anything like that. But yeah, that's awesome. There's definitely a lot of legacy families, which is a cool point that you brought up. A lot of parents sharing their experiences when they were here. Oh, I lived in Graham Hewlett or whatever it is. And so hearing those stories is cool. Those families also, if you're a legacy family, have a really special time at our family weekend. There's an event for legacy families. It could be parents, siblings, it could be aunts and uncles, anything like that. But they actually pin students as a legacy pinning during family weekend. And that's a cool event that I wanted to mention that you brought up about legacy families. It's awesome. So make sure that you're commenting any questions that you have. Our team is answering some questions in the comments. And they're going to send us any questions that we want to answer live. So just continue doing that for us. We're really excited. It looks like there's a lot of people watching this right now, so it's really cool. So we're going to keep going with a couple more questions. What were the most frequently asked questions, or kind of the themes of questions that you got constantly from family members last summer?
I got a lot of questions from families about how my student can get involved. I know a lot of parents are like, my student's really shy and stays to themselves. Like, how are they going to get involved when they come here? So I just made sure to tell them, like, we have over 250 clubs on campus. Like, there is something for everyone. And if there's there's not, you can make one. Just making sure that they know that those opportunities are out there and not, to make sure that their student knows that they are able to do anything that they want to. But also I had parents who had one specific example. A parent had a student who was really into video games, and I told her about Sharkies and how you can sign up for a membership and then you can play games with your friends for the whole year.
For me, I got some, I don't really remember a lot of specifics, but I know some themes were about academics and how long will my student be studying, what's coursework like, how many classes should they take the first semester, those kind of things. And just really, I told them it was about time management and, you're paying to come to school here. So I think academics should be high on your list of priorities and just learning how to manage your time and finding that balance between school and having fun and getting involved as well.
That's awesome. I think getting involved is a big part, but also this time management piece of balancing taking 12 to 15 credit hours or getting involved in multiple clubs or working part-time, really trying to find that sweet spot, that balance to make sure you can thrive academically, but also get involved. I think that's a really good point of what a lot of people come in with questions at orientation. But it goes way past orientation when they have those questions, right? Like going into the first several weeks of class and stuff like that. So I was just thinking, can you talk a little bit about when students move in, what are the first couple of weeks of the semester like? I know we're going to talk about this later on too, but once we get an orientation, you get a lot of information, but right there in the beginning of the semester as well.
So we do have our UNC welcome events for students, and that's a good way for them to be able to go out and see, like, this is what we offer. Just kind of get their foot in the door and see what they could get involved with. So I know the Involvement Carnival is a big, huge event that students can go and sign up for things, even if they just get put on the email list. Like for the first couple weeks, that's a good way to get your foot in the door. But also like our events like Beach Blast and all this, just a good way to get out and meet people. Because there's a big group of people, like a big group of UNCW students, like that's the best way to go and meet people because everyone's uncomfortable. So making yourself like stand out and be able to meet those people.
Yeah, like Caitlin was saying, whenever you get here, it's welcome weeks. We have a lot of different activities and events put on by the campus to just get those freshmen and new students acclimated to campus and meeting all new people in the same boat. My favorite event is Beach Blast. It's where the school closes off a big section of Wrightsville Beach and they actually bus students from campus to the beach. And there's vendors where you get a lot of free stuff, but it's just really cool to see a lot of the school out there hanging out on the beach and just having a good time.
Yeah, I think I wanted to ask y'all that question because I think at orientation, that's a concern of a lot of people. So it's on their mind of what happens in August, what does August look like? And so we're going to take baby steps. That's what these family chats are kind of be over the next couple of months. This in May is talking about June orientations. In June, we're going to be talking about Family Weekend, and which it makes sense in a second. Family Weekend is going to be September 20th through 22nd. And so in June, Family Chat, we're going to be talking about Family Weekend because Family Weekend registration will go live in July. And so it makes a little bit more sense. So in June, we're going to talk about what to expect. And then in July, you can start signing up for events. And so for September. So we're going to be taking baby steps. And then in July, the idea is to talk about move-in and that first several weeks of classes. But so be on the lookout for more info on the next Family Chats. And we'll be inviting different people to come in and talk about those different topics as well. So back to our questions. If you have a question, make sure you comment it. We're working on answering all of the comments, all of the questions in the comments. We might answer some live, but we're waiting to see. So we've talked a lot about your families attending orientation, what they got out of it. So I asked you to ask them what they what piece of advice they would give to families who are watching right now.
My mom said to wear walking shoes, have fun, take notes, and just be open-minded about the whole thing because with an open mind, you're going to get so much more out of it. Just to make sure that like you're there to get the information and just, yeah.
I think mine would be to establish a clear line of communication with your student. It's going to be a new process for them coming to school, and they're going to be going through a lot of changes. So just having that assistance from the family there and just being able to talk about them whenever your student might have a question or just wanting to talk to somebody, just being there and like Caitlin was saying, open-minded because the process might have changed from when the parents and families and guests have went to now. So it might be new, but just having that open mind to let the child grow and experience new parts of college.
Walking shoes, that made me think of walking shoes. Bring a light jacket or something in, because inside we crank the AC in the summertime. If you're not from the South, I know we have several people watching from New York, New Jersey, Maryland. So if you're not from the South, we get pretty hot down here. So we like to crank the AC. So inside these buildings during orientation, you'll want a light jacket. Bring your walking shoes. We'll do tours if it's not too hot or raining. And anytime walking across campus, bring a refillable water bottle if that's something you need. But you can also find lists of all of the things to bring on our website. So if you go to uncw.edu/transitions and then click on either freshman or transfer orientation, you'll see a breakdown on the left-hand side of a lot of helpful information of mock schedules or when to arrive, what check-in will look like, but also what to bring to orientation for both the students and the guest, so that you understand all of that. So I'd encourage you to check out our website if you haven't already. If your student signed you up through our registration system and hasn't really told you a lot of info, make sure you go to the website because there's a lot of information on there. Well, do y'all have anything else? Any last pieces of advice to students that families can pass on or to families themselves?
To be excited. It's going to be a new time and a lot of new experiences, but it's going to be a new, exciting part of your life, you and your students' lives. So just be open and get hyped for this next chapter of their lives and yours.
Always make the most of it because you get what you put in. So just make sure that you have a positive attitude about it because then your student will.
So when we're talking about things to bring and how to prepare for orientation, we got some questions about parents staying on campus during orientation. And so students, we encourage students as a part of their fee to stay overnight in the residence hall for freshmen. Transfer, we don't offer an overnight component, so they need to find their own housing for transfer. For freshmen, because it's 2-day, freshman students can stay overnight in the residence halls, but the parent fee is separate, and so that covers different things. It doesn't cover that housing on campus, and so you would either need to find a hotel here in town, or you can have the option of staying on campus. It's an additional fee to stay the end of day one, going into day two, that overnight. But we also offer an early arrival, and so you could pay for 2 nights and come in the night before day one orientation, stay the night of day one into day two. And so you can go on our website to learn a little bit more about that. But we do offer, it's limited. There's limited number of spots typically. But students will stay in one residence halls, and typically families are housed in a very nearby residence hall for that. So hope that answered any questions we got in the comment about staying overnight. I think we are good. I want to say again, thank you for everyone who watched. This video is going to be on our Facebook page timeline once we click end. And so you can always go back and rewatch anything, share it. I encourage you to share it to your timeline to encourage, hopefully you have some other families or parents or students who are coming to UNCW that hopefully this information is helpful to them. But also, if you need anything, have questions, feel free to reach out to our office. That's what we're here for. And like I said, like I mentioned, we are going to be doing this once a month. And so our next one, we will be announcing a date soon for the June family chat, where we'll be talking about what to expect at family weekend. So all of you who are new students coming in, new students and families, what to expect at your first family weekend. And one other note that I wanted to make is if you have not signed up already for our Flash Family newsletter, you can do that on our website, and it's uncw.edu/transitions. And then you click on family programs and you'll see our Flash Family newsletter. It's a short form to just sign up and give us your email. And that is also a once a month newsletter that we send out to families with a lot of great information, upcoming dates. There's articles from different people across campus, as well as conversation starters of just things to be checking in with your student about each month. So I encourage you, if you haven't signed up for that already, to check that out. But thank you. I want to say thank you to both of you for doing this. This is our first one, so I think we're all wondering if we're going to have technical issues or nerves. But I think this was really cool. I think we had a lot of cool responses from people, and so I hope that y'all are feeling a little bit better about it now. But thank you both for doing this today. And thank you for watching. And we will see you next time. All right? Y'all have a good rest of your day. I'm going to get in your face really fast to end. Y'all have a good day. Bye.